Hi everyone, this is Lara Hammock from the Marble Jar channel, and in today's video I'll tell you about the benefits of kombucha or fermented sweet tea and step-by-step instructions on how I simply make it at home. So there is good scientific evidence that Americans should have more probiotics in our diet. Probiotics are the good bacteria that live in our guts and help us to digest our food properly. Almost every culture has a fermented food or two that serve to replenish that good bacteria. Koreans have kimchi, Germans have sauerkraut, folks in the Mediterranean have yogurt, Japanese have natto, which is smelly fermented soybeans. In the US, we have some foods that we think of as fermented, but since we are bacteria-phobes, most everything is pasteurized, which kills all the good stuff. So I've been looking for a good fermented food to supplement our diet without having to buy a bunch of expensive probiotic pills. So first I tried making kimchi, but the salt content was a little high for me to eat every day. Then I stumbled upon kombucha 6 months ago, and I have been making it ever since. Kombucha is Chinese fermented sweet tea that has been consumed in the East for thousands of years. The reason it ferments is that it has a big mass of yeast and bacteria which eats the sugar in the tea, fermenting it and making it slightly effervescent. So this mass is variously known as the mother or the SCOBY, which I prefer, which is an acronym that stands for Symbiotic Culture of Bacteria and Yeast. It is 100% gross/cool. I was a little wigged out by the texture and the live nature of it at first, but now after working with it for months, I just think it's fabulously great. So now it turns out that kombucha has other health benefits aside from being a probiotic and therefore aiding in digestion. Kombucha that is made with green tea has all of those additional antioxidant benefits, including improving cholesterol, reducing blood sugar, and reducing the risk of cancer. My personal favorite benefit is that kombucha is said to improve liver function. I don't know about you, but my liver can use all the help that it can get. And along those same lines, for those of us who like beer, kombucha is a nice substitute. It is effervescent and satisfyingly sour and easily replaces a beer in the evenings for me with way fewer calories. An 8-ounce serving is only 30 calories. So you can buy kombucha at Whole Foods and other organic, healthy, hippy-dippy places, but it is expensive if you make it a daily habit. It can be anywhere from $2 to $4 for a 16-ounce bottle. So I highly recommend making it yourself. It takes me about 30 minutes every 12 days or so, and my whole family can have kombucha every night for pennies per drink. So let me take you through the process. First of all, I decided to buy a kit on Amazon for $49. It comes highly recommended, and it was perfect for me. I will include the link in the notes section below. It contains the following items: a glass gallon brewing jar, a SCOBY, which is the mass of bacteria and yeast, 1 portion of tea and of sugar, a rubber band and a cotton cover, a temperature strip, pH testing strips, and a pipette straw for testing. So it also has complete instructions, which as a complete novice, I really appreciated. So as you continue to brew, your SCOBY will get larger and larger. So mine has grown so much that I've been able to split it a couple of times, which means that I can now brew 2-gallon jars at a time, and I've had a couple of baby SCOBYs to give away. For my second jar, I just ordered the jar and a temperature strip from Amazon, and I'll put links to that as well. So making kombucha can be an elaborate process. You can see dozens and thousands of videos on YouTube making it elaborately, but I've got it down to about as streamlined as you can get. Here's what I do. First, brew the tea. So boil 4 cups of water in a saucepan and turn off the heat. And now you're going to add 6 bags of caffeinated tea. So for whatever reason, decaf doesn't work as well. I have used a combination of 2 green, 2 black, 2 oolong, or 3 black and 3 green. So don't use anything with extra stuff added, just go for pure tea. It will need to steep off the heat for 7 minutes. Next, add the sugar. For every gallon batch, you're going to add 1 cup of refined sugar. No need to be fancy here, just the regular, cheap, white stuff from the grocery store. If you buy more expensive stuff, it will be harder for the bacteria and the yeast to consume. Stir it up until it dissolves. Next, dilute. So now you're going to pour that sweetened tea into your gallon brew jar, and you're going to add 8 more cups of water to dilute it. It's 1 part tea to 2 parts water, and let it cool. So before you add the SCOBY and the reserved juice, more about that juice in a second, you will need to let it cool so the hot water doesn't kill your SCOBY. It needs to cool to between 68 and 86 degrees. So this is why you need that temperature strip. Next, add the SCOBY and cover. And now you're going to add the SCOBY back in and the reserve juice and cover it with a piece of cotton and a rubber band, and that will allow the oxygen to flow. Set it somewhere where it won't be disturbed, but it isn't too cold or isn't too hot. The warmer the area, the faster that it will brew. And then wait for 7 to 14 days. The larger your SCOBY is, the faster it will brew. The longer you leave it, the less sweet it will be. I like it pretty sour, so I'm on about a 12-day cycle. So once it's brewed to your liking, it's time to harvest. First, wash your hands thoroughly before you handle your SCOBY. You don't want to get it contaminated, or at best you'll have to start all over again, and at worst you'll get sick from moldy kombucha. Reach in, grab the SCOBY, you can do it, it's not that gross, and put it into a glass bowl. Then measure out 1 cup of reserved kombucha liquid to put in with the SCOBY. Set that aside while you brew the tea for the new batch, and then you're going to pour it all in at the appropriate step once the sweet tea is cool enough. And then repeat. As I said, I'm doing 2-gallon jars on a 12-day cycle. It takes me about 30 minutes start to finish, with the bulk of the work spent hand washing all the containers. You do need to be careful to make sure everything is clean, since you have the perfect conditions to grow good bacteria. If you let bad bacteria in, it will grow well too. At my house, we are all kombucha addicts now. I don't mind being addicted to something that's good for you for a change, and since I brew it at home, it's also an inexpensive habit. Let me know what you think. Comments are always appreciated, and thanks for watching.